I feel like that it's when developers go into low income communities and exploit like the
Low income rent?
yeah, well the low income, or they just buy like property super cheap and then
What do you think they do with it? What's the whole? What do you think the purpose of it is?
greed. Yeah, Pilsen Alliance is trying to do a lot to stop gentrification. They're educating people, and they're even like going as far as letting us know why Danny Solis is selling out the community to big time developers and like luxury housing.
I mean, but it's okay to like open up businesses, like I don't like. They're opening up bars basically, so it's more of a nightlife for, like he said, the working class, where it's like if you're gonna dine now, you're not gonna dine at a Mexican restaurant anymore. You're gonna be dining at whatever they want to make it now, you know. So like that's pretty much what it's not liked about by the community, because many Mexicans are not gonna want to dine in a new restaurant that they're not comfortable with. So it's not inviting towards the community. I mean, I'm not worried about being eradicated from Mexicans if that's what's gonna try to be going on, because I feel like Mexican is still pretty thick here. Latinos pretty still strong here. I'm more worried about people that are gonna try to stay here, the difficulties that they're gonna face now. What situation they're gonna have, you know, what sacrifices are they gonna have to do because they don't want to move to a greater infested gang neighborhood, you know? But what I see is not that it's gonna be gone, but I see it as maybe like another 10 years. We'll see another difference.
His whole like borders includes Chinatown. So all he needs is support from Chinatown. He doesn't need us. He doesn't want us as supporters or anything. He doesn't care, because whoever's here, it's already like going through and coming through and doing all this other stuff. It doesn't matter, you know. Like he's already got his support. He's already got his people with him. So like the people who do stand up and say, oh, this is wrong. And in 5 years, they're going to be gone. So he's not going to care. Whoever's going to be here is just going to be people who own stuff, corporations that own stuff, and Chinatown, which he doesn't mess with. You know, those are that's where his voting comes from. It doesn't come from any of us here. I mean, it's just more than half of the Latino population can't vote, and then the other half won't vote because there is no choice. So in reality, like he doesn't need the support of his own people because he's got it everywhere. So in the long run, he just profit, and then in the face of it, he's trying to be like, yeah, I was here on your side, but in reality, he doesn't. He doesn't. He might have a nice idea here and there to appease people, but being an actual person that's lived in Pilsen 34 years, my entire life, I've never seen him do one positive thing that was actually.
The only thing he's done is those fucking stupid little those little signs of pick up your dog shit.
I've been living here 25 years. 25 years. And yeah, and I grew up here, and now I own my business here, so it's been a journey. We are right now in our 5th year of having La Catrina. I don't think I will be as successful as if the neighborhood didn't change. Because simply, you know, a coffee shop, you know, it's not as common in Mexican communities, you know, as a restaurant. It's more of a student kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting, a lot of students moving to the neighborhood. Oh yeah, there's more foot traffic because I grew up here, and I remember, you know, it was a little rougher back in the day, and people wouldn't go out for a walk, you know. And now, you know, the business, you know, relies on foot traffic, and we get a lot more of it. Well, first of all, I'm here, what I'm making, I'm putting it back here into the community, and I'm trying to make it as accessible to a younger crowd, you could say. As far as I mean, it's not officially a youth center, but we try to help everybody, especially younger kids, give them guidance, stuff like that, connecting them with the artists. First of all, a lot of them are interested in art. We have a lot of music, events, usually weekend evenings, and all of them are done or organized by local musicians. So we give them the space, and it helps us because it also draws more foot traffic to us, and people get to know the space. Another thing we do is workshops for kids. We have a resident baker that does cookie decoration workshops for kids. And once a month, but we do them as often as we can. We share the space with our local non-for-profits also, which they don't have the money to pay for their own space, so we share it, and they host their own events here too. So in a lot of ways, we just try to accommodate. Most of these people we grew up with, and they need the help. The space is here, so we try to help. No, it definitely is going to be still a family, oriented neighborhood. I think the only thing is that, everything. Of course, once people move, it becomes more like I could say like a place, a destination, or a place that people want to live. There's more demand. Prices go up. It might be a little harder for lower income families, but I think definitely that's why people move here, because they see the variety in culture and all the things going on, and they want their new families to be exposed to it.
Well, our mission, we are a grassroots nonprofit organization that has been in the neighborhood for almost 20 years. We were born out of a community congress addressing displacement, addressing the gentrification in the community that's being something that's been ongoing for decades. And I think the late 90s, in 1998, the community decided to take some measurements, do policy, bring people together to address the issue. The organization has obviously grown to not only address displacement, but everything that is connected with. So we also care about quality public schools. We also care about environmental justice, workers' rights, immigrant rights, and the well-being of the community. So it's not only affordable housing, but this is a multi-issue organization that is really designed and to empower these residents through grassroots organizing. So our board members are immigrant moms, people from the community, teachers, stay-at-home moms, to people from the community, students. We have a few youth members too. So organization comes to develop policy and advocacy at the grassroots level, to have a bottom-up approach. We work with we have an immigration coalition right now, which is a pilsen immigration coalition that we joined. In housing, we connect with organizations across the city, not only Pilsen. We work with COCO, we work with One Northside Access for Justice, LSNA, to come up with a policy that really helps our communities to have thriving, inclusive, and racially diverse communities. Really, if we look at like the horrible legacy of segregation that we have in Chicago, it's not going to come easy. We have a mistaken idea of this post-racial society that is, if you look around, gentrification just plays a role in the displacement and the new colonization of communities that have been here for a long time. When you have an alderman who takes money from the developers and the lady tries to tell you that he's going to give you a fair hearing, it's just hypocritical, right? It's disingenuous, right? And it's wrong, ultimately, right? So I think that we have always had as an organization, and in those 20 years, I would say that almost the organization was created to address that, an issue where your representatives don't represent you, they represent special interests that could have been used to actually create affordable housing. $3.3 million, that's about 45 units. If this neighborhood, that's the minimum, and this neighborhood has a mandate. The Pilsen Alliance was leading to create in 2004, where we wanted to have open meetings. We wanted to have in 2006, we created a a mandate where in this neighborhood we have a mandate of 21% affordable. So that would probably double those numbers. We're talking about $6 million that we probably could actually make happen, right, of affordable housing, and that money never came back to the community, right? I think now the mayor has this opportunity fund where he decides who gets it, who doesn't. So it's political, right? But this is where the community, is generating the revenue. So that's how it's by design, right? They take the money and they decide how to spend it. What about the taxpayers, the people who today have paid for these on taxes, on higher taxes? And I think that's what we talk about. I mean, this is policy that makes no sense. When TIF money goes and subsidize private stadium or sky rises or, I'm sure like great stuff for tourists, right? But what about the residents, right? And how they're seeing the benefits. So we talk about that. I said, well, and then we got to hold our politicians accountable. So our aldermen say, well, what are you doing with the money? What are you doing with with these fees? And why are they even allowed to pay on fees in the first place, right? And that's where you see the connection between the developers, the alderman, the mayor, and the shenanigans that happen, Kazakhstan, right? Is a community center was lost. And, I mean, how insulting it comes to a community like Pilsen, right? And I think the hashtag of these developer city pads, big funder of the mayor, was like having hashtag like making Pilsen great again. I mean, to the level of, so it is political, right? So are we going to let people just step on us, or are we actually going to call them on it? And that's when you need the honesty. Then it's like, well, so I just stop, say I stop one day and say, well, how can I help you in? Then, we help out with making phone calls. Sorry about that. That's fine. Making phone calls, passing flyers, helping getting buses. And after that, after seeing the power of grassroots organizing, I was convinced that this is what we need to do. Build condos. I mean, it's insane what's happening today. And I think like if we're not able to speak honestly to our community so that we know what's going on, and so we have a responsibility to tell people this is not right, this is not normal, far from that, right? This is corruption, right? This is complete disregard for human life. I mean, they look at housing, healthcare, education as a commodity, and that's wrong. Those models are wrong. The alderman, as a response to what we have called to make sure that we have open meetings, transparency, we have a referendum in 2004. So he created, as a response, 95% of people said, yeah, you cannot, you don't trust you to make those decisions. As he receives tons and tons of money from developers, millions over it, versus that, 20 years. He cannot make for people in the community. And I think that is the danger when there's so much money involved that you don't want people in the room. The most shocking thing that happened to me, so we were told that there was a meeting, a closed-door meeting, about these decisions about a new developer on 18th and Peoria who wants to bring 465 units in Pilsen. Luxury developer from New York. We have battled this development for 2 years, over 2 years. So we ask these people if we can, sit down, listen and sit down what he has to say. We know him very well. In representation, they're just here. We understand there's their thing. Right. You will not believe what happened. I've never seen something like this happen to me. And I just share this, just because it's so important to know. In location here that's supposed to serve the community, right? We not only were not allowed to enter, we were escorted out of the building. Trump Jr. They were calling him Trump Jr. And they were at the table with him and didn't want to even allow us. So I think that's what I think leaders go wrong when there's no transparency. We learn how to do grants or whatever it takes, we learn how to do and run a meeting. We learn to, whatever we need to learn, right? How to organize, how to run a program, we learn, right? So a lot of us, I think we have mentors, great mentors in this organization that are still here, that have been doing this fight for a long time. But I know some of them are tired.